Okay, so oops, I accidentally.
Bing to it would Bing to dating and the stock market. Bing to dating and the stock market.
Okay.
The
So what they're trying to say is, even though something that they're going to say might seem like improbable or like far from like our current experience of things, it's not our new normal per se yet, and it might be later on. Okay, so that's what this part is, right? Nowadays, the internet interconnects us. And I have something about that. Like, I'd love to discuss. There's something else I want to talk about in relation to like the internet and people. But yeah, so
billions of
yeah.
people would be connected via a kind of web. That you would own a handheld device orders of magnitude more powerful than supercomputers. It would seem absurd, but then all of it happened.
Okay. Well, okay. Welcome back, guys. And I'm going to try to have some more relevant takes, something more interesting, something we can talk about, something you and I can, get the meat and potatoes of, right? So here it is. Let's start. So before in another video, I expressed that I had some concerns, right? I had some concerns with COVID and why it happened potentially. And I had a theory about like something called CRISPR-Cas9. So we discussed about COVID and how we were all so scared and how COVID really got us looking at all the treatment opportunities and potential ways to counteract the virus, right? So I proposed something called CRISPR-Cas9, that there's something scary that we kind of unchained. So here's what it is.
Humans have been engineering life for thousands of years. Through selective breeding, we strengthened useful traits in plants.
Yeah, if you guys didn't know, I know, like, I'm a theist myself, right? So I'm also in the camp that there's a creator of sorts, right? And yeah, he created miraculous things, but some things he created with, our help, like inspiration or something. But there it goes. So we're inspired to make it better. This is the banana, the wild banana, right? Before we screwed it with it, like this was like unedible, tasted like garbage, and there was such giant seeds. Think papaya seed sizes, right? And it was bland, very bland.
In the 1990s, there was also a brief foray into human engineering. To treat maternal infertility, babies were made that carried genetic information from 3 humans, making them the first humans ever to have 3 genetic parents. Today, there are super-muscled pigs, fast-growing salmon,
But again, see, they can do that to prevent some genetic anomalies, but they want to protect the human genome. They don't want 5 dads to be in the DNA structure of a baby, We don't know the consequences of that yet.
featherless chickens, and see-through frogs. On the fun side, we made things
Like quadruple evolution to make it better. This is the banana, the wild banana, right? Before we screwed it with it, like this was like unedible, tasted like garbage, and there was such giant seeds. Think papaya seed sizes, right? And it was bland, very bland. So they're not wrong. Let's start. Let's see what's
and animals. We became very good at this, but never truly understood.
Yes, so selective breeding, right? So when it comes to evolution, there are forces that help things adapt, change, and evolve. One of them is, of course, natural selection. But then for us, we have CRISPR.
Technology now entering the stage. CRISPR. Overnight, the costs of engineering have shrunk by 99%. Instead of a year, it takes a few weeks to conduct experiments, and basically everybody with a lab can do it. And how does it work? Bacteria and viruses have been fighting since the dawn.
There you go. So bacteria and viruses, they fight each other. Even though they like hurt us a lot, they actually hate each other more. So how do you equate this? It's like in our world, we have like a, well, you know, the bad guys supposedly, right? I mean, of course, not like North Korea and, you know, let's say North Korea. That's an easy one to discuss, right? It's almost objective, right? They are a bigger enemy compared to like an alien planet, you know, that potentially wants to see us like evolve so we can take our resources or something. No, for us, our most immediate enemy are the things closest to us. And even though they both kind of fight us, they're each other's bigger enemies, right?
Born of life. So-called bacteriophages or phages hunt bacteria. In the ocean, phages kill 40% of them every single day. Phages do this by inserting their own genetic code into the bacteria and taking them over to use them as factories.
Yeah, so bacteria, viruses aren't really alive. They're actually dead. So bacteria, when they get attacked by a virus, it treats the bacteria like any other cell. It's going to turn into a factory to reproduce itself. That's it. They don't see themselves as both the bad guys or something.
The bacteria but fail most of the time because their protection tools are too weak. But sometimes bacteria survive an attack. Only if they do so can they activate their most effective antivirus system. They save a part of the virus DNA in their own genetic code in a DNA archive called CRISPR.
Okay, so that's CRISPR. Takes it after surviving, and it saves it.
Here, it's stored safely until it's needed. When the virus attacks again, the bacterium quickly makes an RNA copy from the DNA archive and arms a secret weapon, a protein called Cas9.
So Cas9 is what it makes. Well, it's a mechanism already there. It doesn't make Cas9, but it feeds Cas9 the information, right?
The protein now scans the bacterium's insides for signs of the virus invader by comparing every bit of DNA it finds to the sample from the archive. When it finds a 100% perfect match, it's activated and cuts out the virus DNA, making it useless, protecting the...
So, yeah, that's what happens, right? So it cuts it and makes it useless and protects the bacteria. So then we took that.
Give it a copy of DNA you want to modify and put the system into a living cell. If the old techniques of genetic manipulation were like a map, CRISPR is like a GPS system. Aside from being precise, cheap and easy, CRISPR offers the ability to edit live cells, to switch genes on and off, and target and study particular DNA.
Living cells, right? Instead of waiting the whole time, CRISPR can attack living cells, change it, right?
Sequences. It also works for every type of cell, microorganisms, plants, animals or humans. But despite the revolution CRISPR is for science, it's still just a first-generation tool. More precise tools are already being created and used as we speak. By simply injecting CRISPR into the rats' tails, they were able to remove more than 50% of the virus from cells all over the body. In a few decades, a CRISPR therapy might cure HIV and other retroviruses.
I believe China, post-COVID, was able to genetically create two babies, twins that were HIV resistant.
Viruses that hide inside human DNA. Getting rid of cancer might eventually mean getting just a couple of injections.
So it's covering the good things, right? Okay, cure HIV, cure cancer, but then the slope gets slippery.
Of a few thousand. A month later, Chinese scientists announced that they would treat lung cancer patients with immune cells modified with CRISPR in August 2016. With a powerful tool like CRISPR, we may be able to end this. Over 3,000 genetic diseases are caused by a single incorrect letter in your DNA. We are already building a modified version of Cas9 that is made to change just a
Okay, great. We can do all these cool things to fix you. All these diseases, all these problems, right? You don't need them, right? Huntington's disease, Nyan syndrome, Tay-Sachs disease,
or two,
Down
we could possibly
syndrome,
cure
cystic
thousands of diseases
fibrosis.
forever. But all of these medical applications have one thing in common. They are limited to the individual and die with them, except if you use them on reproductive cells or very early embryos. But CRISPR can and probably will be used for much more. The creation of modified humans, designer babies, and will mean gradual but irreversible changes to the human gene pool.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we're too liberal and too scared, we allow things to change and we can't control it once the gates have been opened.
Regardless of your personal take on genetic engineering, it will affect you. Modified humans could alter the
If not you, it's going to affect your kids, your grandkids.
genome of our entire species because their engineered traits will be passed on to their children and because it condemns children to preventable suffering and death and denies them the cure. But as soon as the first engineered kid is born, a door is opened that can't be closed anymore. Early on, vanity traits will mostly be left alone. But as genetic modification becomes more accepted and our knowledge of our genetic code enhances, the temptation will grow. If you make your offspring immune to Alzheimer, why not also give them an enhanced metabolism?
Weirdly enough, one of the first things I know that they potentially will try to reverse is like hair loss. Yeah. So
We think aging is caused by the accumulation of damage to our cells, like DNA breaks and the systems responsible for
yeah, so it's the telomere that protects our DNA from further damage. Once it's gone, then you'll see more significant damage and rapid decay over time. That's why an elderly person within like 2-3 years, they look like they age significantly more than someone who's aged like 6 years between like the ages of like 27 and 34.
We know from nature that there are animals immune to aging. Maybe we could even borrow a few genes for ourselves.
Yeah, CRISPR can do good things like that. But to what extent? When are we going to start having augmentations? Identify as a bat. Man.
Still, a few major challenges await us, some technological, some ethical. Many of you watching will feel uncomfortable and fear that we will create a world in which we will reject non-perfect humans and pre-select features and qualities based on...
Dude, what do you mean, maybe? Like, do you want Down syndrome kids who have like learning problems that people can take advantage of? Kids with dwarfism? Like, if parents went through problems through their life because of dwarfism and, the health complications comes with it, the organs that are like more of a strain to the body than a normal person. So these are the things. Yes, of course, people will start to kind of segregate and push away these otherwise like immutable possibilities, right? You want your kids to have the best opportunity, but does that mean there's no room for any more kids with Down syndrome, autistic savants? To what extent? And those are just people who have power and are seen to be good guys. If the technology gets easier, what about the more evil of them, right? So that was my take on the whole explanation of what I said earlier about the CRISPR and the COVID, and how they have been kind of swept under the rug, but they might be related. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.